Have you ever felt like you're stuck in your old life, repeating the same things but never seeing real change? Your new life will cost your old one. This phrase might hit hard, but it's the truth you need to understand. To step into a new life, you must be ready to let go of the things that have been holding you back, whether that's habits, relationships, or choices that no longer help you grow. Change is never easy, but it's the only path that leads to freedom and growth. Take some time to listen to this video again, practice what you've learned every day, and share your story with those around you. Don't hesitate to leave a comment, share your thoughts, and tell us how you plan to start your change today. If you find this advice helpful, hit subscribe, and let's embark on this journey of continuous transformation together. 1. Change asks the question, are you willing to lose what you have? When you think about change, a powerful question always arises. Are you willing to lose what you have to gain something better? Change is not easy. We are often holding on to old habits, relationships, and routines that once gave us comfort but no longer serve our growth. These things have become familiar anchors, and letting go can feel terrifying. Yet, the real transformation comes when we face the uncomfortable truth that in order to move forward, we have to be willing to leave certain things behind. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Perhaps there's someone close to you who is in a job they don't like, but stay because it feels stable. Or maybe a friend is holding on to a relationship that no longer brings them joy, but the fear of loneliness makes them stay. Even though they feel trapped, the familiarity of their current situation seems easier than facing the unknown of change. This is a common theme in our everyday lives. The resistance to change comes not from a lack of desire, but from the fear of losing something we think is essential for our well-being. This situation is perfectly aligned with the teachings of Stoic philosophy. Stoics believe that real freedom comes not from external circumstances, but from our ability to detach from the things that no longer contribute to our personal growth. We hold on to outdated versions of ourselves, old habits, and even people who drain our energy because we believe that they give us security. The Stoics would argue that this security is an illusion. True freedom and inner peace come from the ability to release attachments and embrace the discomfort of growth. In fact, it is only through the willingness to lose what we have that we can truly gain something more fulfilling. Take the story of a person who has been going to work every day, performing the same monotonous tasks and feeling drained by the repetitive routine. The fear of stepping out of this safe zone to explore new opportunities, even though they are dissatisfied, holds them back. They are afraid of losing the stability that they have, even if it comes at the cost of their happiness. But what they fail to see is that their current situation is no longer an asset to their well-being. It is a limitation. The longer they hold on to this familiar job, the more they are preventing themselves from discovering new challenges that will bring growth, satisfaction, and ultimately fulfillment. In the same vein, a person might stay in a toxic relationship simply because they fear being alone. They may hold on to the memories, the good moments from the past, and the security of the known, even though the relationship has long stopped serving their emotional needs. But as long as they cling to this relationship, they are not making room for the better connections and growth that could come from letting go. The pain of losing the familiarity, even if it's negative, can often outweigh the fear of what comes next. But it is this very holding on that keeps them stuck. Stoicism teaches that our attachments to things, people, and even our own outdated beliefs are the main reasons we remain stuck. The ability to let go, to face the fear of loss, and to trust that what's ahead will be better than what we leave behind is the cornerstone of personal growth. Change requires sacrifice, but it also brings the reward of freedom and authenticity. In many ways, our society encourages us to cling to what we have for fear of missing out on something better. However, true growth comes when we face the uncomfortable decision of walking away from what no longer serves us. This can be as simple as changing a daily routine, letting go of a friendship that brings negativity, or making the difficult decision to move on from a relationship that no longer brings value to our lives. It requires courage and clarity to see that what we have isn't always what's best for us in the long run. Ultimately, change asks you this simple yet powerful question. Are you willing to let go of what you have to move towards something better? The fear of loss is real, but so is the potential for growth. By making the decision to release what no longer serves us, we free ourselves to welcome new opportunities, challenges, and experiences that will shape us into the best version of ourselves. You can't grow if you don't take the leap. The first step is acknowledging that the security you think you have is often just a barrier to your true potential. Let go, embrace discomfort, and allow yourself to transform. The life you desire is waiting, but it can only come when you are willing to release the life you have been holding on to. 2. Discovering the truth. You can't improve while holding on to everything. The more you try to hold on to everything, the more you'll find yourself stuck, unable to move forward. Holding on to everything, whether it's bad habits or draining relationships, will only prevent you from growing. You've likely encountered a friend who clings to everything from their past, whether it's a toxic friendship, a dead-end job, or a lifestyle that no longer serves their ambitions. We all have those relationships or routines that seem comfortable, but they no longer add value to our lives. Letting go of them is often harder than we think. But to make progress, it's essential to realize that clinging to these things is often the very thing keeping us stagnant. Think about someone in your life who consistently tries to do everything but can never quite focus on their bigger goals. They fill their day with tasks that seem urgent but don't move them closer to their dreams. This happens because they are overwhelmed by the sheer volume of what they carry, whether it's people's expectations, unnecessary commitments, or outdated behaviors. They simply can't say enough. It's easier to stay in the comfort of their current life, even if it's not aligned with their true aspirations. This is where many people find themselves trapped, overburdened by the weight of obligations they don't even realize are holding them back. The Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of distinguishing between what we can control and what we need to release. The wisdom of Stoicism doesn't just lie in accepting external circumstances, but in actively choosing what we keep and what we let go. Every time you hold on to something that no longer serves you, whether it's an unhealthy relationship, a bad habit, or a fear that keeps you stuck, you are preventing yourself from moving forward. This is not a theory, it's a practical truth that is vital for anyone who wants to grow and live a fulfilling life. But this is easier said than done. Think of it like carrying a heavy backpack full of rocks on a hike. Every rock represents something you're holding on to, an unfulfilling job, an emotionally draining friendship, the pressure to be everything to everyone. As you keep walking with that heavy load, you'll soon find that it gets harder and harder to make progress. You tire easily, your energy drains, and your focus wanes. Now imagine if you could put that backpack down and walk without the weight. You would move faster, feel lighter, and have more energy to focus on what truly matters. This is the reality for many of us. We become so accustomed to carrying unnecessary baggage that we don't even realize how much it holds us back. This may be a family member who constantly demands your attention but doesn't contribute to your well-being, or a routine that no longer challenges you. These are not easy things to let go of because they are familiar. We believe that if we continue to hold on to them, we will find stability. But true stability comes from shedding the things that keep us stuck. We must learn to say, "This is no longer helping me. It's time to let go." The act of letting go, though difficult, is what ultimately allows us to make room for what is truly important. It allows us to focus our energy on the things that help us grow. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning everything from the past. It means consciously choosing to release what is no longer contributing to our progress. And once you do that, you begin to notice the shift. The weight that once slowed you down is lifted, and you find yourself moving forward with more clarity, more focus, and more energy. You start to attract the things that align with your true desires, and you begin to focus your time on what really matters. The truth is, progress doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things. And to figure out what those right things are, you must first let go of what no longer serves you. This process might seem intimidating at first, but it's liberating. It's the key to freeing yourself from the noise and the clutter that distract you from your true purpose. So, start small. Look at the things you're holding on to that no longer benefit you and begin to release them. The more you let go, the more you make space for the life you've been working towards. It's time to stop carrying what isn't yours to carry and start focusing on what truly moves you forward. 3. Choose truth over convenience. We often gravitate toward choices that offer convenience, those that seem easy and comfortable in the moment. The truth, however, is that real change does not come from comfort or convenience. It's the uncomfortable truths, the ones we are often reluctant to face, that pave the way for growth. You've already shown that you're ready to listen to these difficult truths by staying here, reading these words. This is not an easy path, but you've come halfway already. Don't stop now. You have the courage to face what others often avoid, and that alone is something to be proud of. It takes strength to move beyond what's comfortable, to step into discomfort with the knowledge that something greater awaits on the other side. Choosing truth over convenience means making decisions that might not always align with the crowd. It means stepping away from the easy path and choosing the one that leads to long-lasting transformation. It could be as simple as admitting that a relationship, a job, or a habit no longer serves your greater good, even when everyone around you thinks it's fine. How many times have you heard someone tell you, "Don't change too much, everything is fine the way it is"? Society often encourages us to stay in our comfort zones, to accept what we have because it's familiar and stable. But here's the thing. Stability doesn't always equal growth. True growth requires disruption, a willingness to break free from what is familiar, to embrace the unknown. Stoic philosophy teaches us that real change comes from within. The Stoics understood that embracing truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is the foundation for living a life of integrity and purpose. They didn't advocate for living in a way that was easy or comfortable, but for living in alignment with our values, no matter the cost. In fact, Stoics believed that it is only when we choose the truth, even when it's hard, that we begin to free ourselves from the chains of false comfort. Think about a time in your life when you chose convenience over truth. Maybe it was staying in a job that didn't challenge you, or accepting a situation because it was easier than confronting the problem. How did that turn out? In most cases, the easy choice leads to stagnation. The truth, on the other hand, might have required you to make difficult changes, but those changes brought you closer to who you are truly meant to be. Whether it's letting go of old habits, leaving behind toxic relationships, or choosing a path that aligns with your values, the decision to choose truth over convenience is the one that will ultimately lead to personal fulfillment. Don't fool yourself into believing that convenience will get you where you want to go. You've probably heard the phrase, "Success is a journey, not a destination." Well, that journey is built on the decisions you make every day. And choosing the easy route doesn't get you closer to your goals. Choosing truth, even when it feels uncomfortable, allows you to build a foundation for a life that reflects your true self. It's the small, seemingly difficult choices that accumulate over time and shape your destiny. By choosing the truth, you are choosing growth, and growth requires stepping out of what's comfortable. This doesn't mean that every step you take will be easy. In fact, many times it will feel like you're walking uphill, facing challenges that seem impossible. But remember, every time you choose truth, you move closer to who you are becoming. Every time you choose what's right over what's easy, you build the life you want, a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. Now, reflect on your own life. What are you holding on to because it's convenient? What areas of your life are you avoiding addressing because it's easier to ignore the discomfort? It's time to take a step back and acknowledge the truth. Choose the path that requires you to grow, even if it's hard. This is the moment when change begins. Not when everything is easy, but when you choose truth over convenience, every single time. 4. Face your emotions. Don't hide your pain. Whenever you feel uneasy, exhausted, or in pain, those emotions are not something you should run from. In fact, they are valuable data being sent to you by your body and mind. Yet, instead of confronting and dealing with them, we often choose to hide them or avoid them because we are afraid to face the pain. This avoidance can be harmful in the long run because when we neglect our emotions, we fail to learn from them and grow. Imagine a friend who is always trying to keep up a strong exterior, but is actually suppressing all their negative emotions. They go through their day as if everything is fine, but deep down they feel overwhelmed and unable to talk about what they're going through. This is a clear example of emotional avoidance. They may appear fine on the outside, but inside they are breaking down. This is not uncommon. Many people feel this way because they think facing pain makes them weak, but it's exactly the opposite. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we can't control everything in life, but we do have control over how we respond to what happens. Our emotions are signals, and they are not to be ignored or pushed aside, but rather acknowledged and acted upon. Facing pain and uncomfortable emotions does not make you weak. It makes you strong. It's the first step toward emotional maturity and inner strength. By choosing to confront the emotions that arise, you stop letting them control your life. Instead, you take control of your response and start creating a life of freedom and resilience. Stoic thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius have emphasized that emotional control is not about suppressing feelings, but about not allowing them to control our actions. Pain, frustration, and fear are a part of the human experience, but how we choose to react to them is what defines us. For example, when you feel overwhelmed by stress, it's easy to withdraw, ignore the feelings, or try to distract yourself with something else. This may seem like the easier option in the short term, but it never addresses the core issue. When you avoid dealing with the emotion, it builds up inside, and over time, it only becomes harder to face. Instead, a better approach would be to recognize the emotion, sit with it for a moment, and then ask yourself what it's trying to tell you. Is it a signal that you need to set better boundaries, that you need rest, or perhaps it's showing you that you need to let go of something in your life that is no longer serving you? When you start facing your emotions, you start to develop emotional resilience that helps you handle life's challenges with greater strength. You become better at managing your feelings without letting them control you. Emotional strength doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It means acknowledging them, understanding them, and choosing how to respond in a way that aligns with your values. This process takes practice and patience. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is through these uncomfortable moments that we grow. By continuously facing our emotions instead of hiding from them, we build the emotional stamina to face even greater challenges in the future. You learn to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. You become more grounded in your decisions, knowing that you are in control of how you navigate your emotions. Consider the moments in your life when you've chosen to hide from pain. Perhaps you've chosen to bottle up your feelings, telling yourself that it's easier to ignore them than to deal with them. But think about how that affected you. Did you feel more connected to your true self, or did it feel like a heavy burden? Avoidance may seem like the easy way out, but in reality, it only makes the situation harder to confront later on. By choosing to face your emotions, you take the first step toward healing and empowerment. This is the essence of building true mental strength, acknowledging your feelings, understanding them, and using them to fuel your growth rather than stifle it. In conclusion, facing your emotions is one of the most powerful ways to reclaim your life and build the inner strength necessary to achieve your goals. Stoicism teaches that emotions, when acknowledged and processed, don't have to control us. Instead, they can be tools for growth, understanding, and resilience. Don't shy away from your pain. Lean into it, learn from it, and use it as a stepping stone on your journey to becoming the person you are meant to be. 5. Start small. Your new life begins with one step at a time. No one can change their entire life in a single day. Real change isn't a giant leap, but a gradual process. You may not see immediate results, but each small action you take is paving the way for a new future. The truth is, we often overlook how small, consistent steps lead to long-term transformation. Change is often misunderstood as something that happens suddenly or overnight, but in reality, it's the result of small, daily decisions that accumulate over time, gradually altering the trajectory of your life. Imagine a friend who has been talking about losing weight for months. They've talked about it, researched it, and even bought gym clothes, but never quite took the first step. Then one day, they decide to start small, drinking more water, walking for just 15 minutes a day, and cutting back on unhealthy snacks. At first, these seem like small, insignificant changes, but over time, these small actions begin to add up, leading to significant changes. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy. Progress doesn't come from sudden bursts of action, but from consistent effort in small, daily decisions. This is not just about weight loss. It applies to every area of life, whether it's building a new skill, learning a new language, or improving your mental resilience. The first step is always the hardest. But once you begin, the path becomes clearer. You might not see immediate results, but every action you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. Stoic thinkers like Epictetus emphasize that self-discipline and inner strength are built one step at a time. Every small victory, every decision to act with purpose, adds up and builds momentum. Starting small doesn't mean taking insignificant actions. It means starting with what you can do right now, with what is available to you. The first step might be as simple as setting an intention for the day, or making a small change in your routine that aligns with your long-term goals. For example, if you want to improve your health, start by cutting out one unhealthy habit instead of trying to overhaul your entire diet. If you're aiming to build a new career, start by taking a course or networking with people in the field. These small steps, though not immediately transformative, are the foundation upon which your new life will be built. The most important aspect of starting small is consistency. Many people give up too soon because they expect quick results, or they don't see enough progress after a few attempts. But the key to success lies in the persistence to continue, even when results are slow or barely noticeable. Think of a river cutting through rock. The flow of water is consistent, but it takes time to wear down the rock. Your consistent efforts, even if they seem small or insignificant in the moment, are slowly but surely reshaping your life. The Stoics believed that success is not measured by grand, sweeping actions, but by the small, consistent efforts we put forth every day. By committing to taking small steps every day, you create a solid foundation for lasting change. The key here is patience. It's about trusting the process and knowing that even small actions repeated over time have a powerful compounding effect. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed by the thought of making a major life change, remind yourself that the journey begins with one step. Whether it's changing a habit, starting a new project, or shifting your mindset, don't underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They are the seeds that will eventually grow into the big changes you desire. Starting small is not a sign of weakness or hesitation. It's a sign of wisdom and understanding that lasting change doesn't happen all at once. It's built through consistency, persistence, and commitment. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to becoming the person you want to be. 6. Choose peace over approval from others. One of the hardest things in life is learning to choose peace over the approval of others. We tend to live for the validation we get from others, whether it's from family, friends, or colleagues. But the question is it worth sacrificing your inner peace just to make someone else happy? We all know the feeling of saying yes when deep down we want to say no. We agree to go to events we're not excited about, participate in conversations we have no interest in, or even do things that drain our energy simply because we don't want to disappoint anyone. These are the everyday situations where we compromise our peace for external validation. Think of a time when you agreed to something you didn't want to do, just to avoid conflict or to make someone else feel better. Maybe you attended a gathering you weren't interested in, or you sat through a conversation that left you feeling tired and unfulfilled. This doesn't mean you don't care about others. It simply means that, in those moments, you didn't prioritize your own well-being. It's important to recognize that when you're constantly sacrificing your peace to keep others happy, you're not showing respect for yourself. The Stoics understood the dangers of seeking approval from others. They taught that the pursuit of external validation is a trap that keeps us from living authentically. By focusing on the approval of others, we can easily lose sight of who we are and what we truly value. Stoic philosophers believed that true contentment comes from within, and that we must be grounded in our own beliefs and values, rather than constantly adjusting ourselves to fit others' expectations. This doesn't mean we should stop caring about the feelings of others, but rather that we must not let their approval dictate our sense of self-worth. Choosing peace over approval is not always easy. It can mean letting go of relationships or situations where you're not truly respected or understood. It can mean setting boundaries with people who don't support your growth, or making decisions that others may not understand, even if they criticize you for it. But in those moments, when you choose your peace over their approval, you are making a commitment to yourself. You are valuing your own well-being over the temporary comfort of fitting into someone else's expectations. This decision to choose peace may come at a price. Perhaps someone will be upset, or you'll face criticism. But as you continue down this path, you'll realize that the price of inner peace is far less than the cost of living for the approval of others. When you make peace your priority, you will feel a sense of freedom that comes from living authentically. You'll stop feeling the weight of others' expectations and start embracing your true self. It's not about rejecting people, it's about recognizing that your peace is not for sale. The strength to choose peace over approval comes from knowing that you are enough just as you are. You do not need external validation to feel good about yourself. This realization is empowering, and as you practice this mindset, you will find that your life becomes less about pleasing others and more about living in alignment with your values and principles. The Stoics believed that peace is a state of mind that we cultivate through self-awareness, discipline, and honesty with ourselves. When we stop seeking approval from others, we create the space for true inner peace to grow. As you continue on your journey, remember that choosing peace is a form of self-care. It's not selfish, it's necessary. And while it may be difficult at first, it will ultimately bring you closer to the life you want to live. By prioritizing your inner peace, you'll create a foundation for a life of authenticity, strength, and clarity. Choosing peace over approval is not about avoiding conflict. It's about respecting yourself enough to make decisions that align with who you truly are. That's when you start to experience the freedom of living a life without compromise. 7. Choose your environment. Surround yourself with what fuels you. Your environment, the people you interact with, the spaces where you live and work, and even the habits you maintain, has a profound impact on your growth. If you want to change your life, you need to change what you expose yourself to every day. This doesn't just apply to your physical surroundings, but to the mental and emotional space you cultivate. The people around you shape your mindset, your actions, and your future. As the Stoics teach, we cannot control all external factors, but we can control how we respond to them. Creating an environment that aligns with your values and supports your growth is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward lasting change. Have you ever felt drained or exhausted after spending time with a friend or colleague who is constantly complaining or spreading negativity? That's a clear example of how your environment can affect your energy and mindset. It's difficult to move forward when you are constantly being held back by people or situations that don't contribute to your growth. It's like trying to swim against a current. You may be putting in a lot of effort, but you're not getting anywhere. In these situations, it's easy to feel stuck, as though the weight of external negativity is keeping you from moving forward. This is where the importance of choosing the right environment comes into play. Sometimes, you must be strong and decisive enough to create an environment that fuels your goals and aspirations. This doesn't mean cutting ties with everyone who doesn't align with your vision, but it does mean reevaluating the relationships and situations that drain your energy. Ask yourself, are the people I surround myself with lifting me up or holding me down? Are my daily habits contributing to my progress or hindering it? The Stoics emphasize that growth can only occur when we control the external factors that influence our minds and energy. If you want to grow, you must curate an environment that challenges, motivates, and nurtures you. This may mean distancing yourself from negativity or harmful habits that have become ingrained in your life. It might require setting boundaries with people who don't respect your growth or choosing to spend more time in spaces that inspire creativity and focus. Creating a supportive environment goes beyond just physical space. It's about the attitudes, energy, and mindsets you choose to engage with. A positive, encouraging environment can lift you, provide the motivation you need, and offer valuable perspectives that push you to become better. On the other hand, an environment filled with negativity, complacency, and distractions will keep you tethered to your past self, preventing you from realizing your full potential. This isn't about isolating yourself or cutting off everyone who doesn't immediately align with your vision. It's about intentionality. It's about recognizing that the people you spend time with and the spaces you occupy directly influence the direction of your life. Surrounding yourself with individuals who challenge you, who bring out the best in you, and who support your goals is crucial for maintaining momentum in your journey of self-improvement. In practical terms, this might mean seeking out mentors who inspire you, joining groups or communities that align with your values, or even changing your work environment to one that fosters creativity and focus. If you spend your days in a toxic or uninspiring setting, it's going to be much harder to break free and make progress. Conversely, if you are in an environment that encourages growth, that challenges your thinking, and that celebrates your achievements, you'll be more motivated to push forward. The power of your environment is undeniable. It shapes how you think, how you feel, and ultimately, how you act. Stoic wisdom teaches that while we can't control everything, we can control where we put ourselves and what we expose ourselves to. By actively choosing an environment that supports and nurtures your growth, you are taking a powerful step toward becoming the best version of yourself. So take a moment to reflect. What kind of environment are you cultivating? Does it align with the person you want to become? Are the people around you pushing you to be better, or are they holding you back? If you find that your current environment doesn't serve your growth, take the necessary steps to change it. Surround yourself with what fuels you, and watch as your life begins to transform. In conclusion, the path to transformation starts with making conscious choices. Whether it's choosing to face the truth, letting go of what no longer serves you, or curating an environment that fuels your growth, every step you take brings you closer to the life you want. The key is consistency and self-awareness. Change doesn't happen overnight, but with small, intentional actions, you will start to see the results. Remember, it's not about perfection, but about progress, and the power to change lies in your hands. As you continue on this journey, reflect on the small steps you've taken and how they align with your true values. Your future depends on the choices you make today. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Share your story in the comments below, and let's support each other in creating lives of purpose and clarity. Keep taking those steps forward. Your new life awaits.